Hello, welcome to Summer Talk 011. Today I want to talk about the real world knowledge or the knowledge of the real world. In today's way, we do everything by standard, efficient, and assembly line, quick. And it's great for our effective and efficiency going up. But in another way, it limited our thinking inside of a box, not thinking outside of box. For example, whatever you do in your field, the way you've been used to do it and the logical to do it, that you never think the second thought, why do we doing this way? Because you have been in this field for long, you have not thinking differently. So from statistic number, we cannot just see the statistic number, but we also have to know what's the truth behind the number, what's the truth reflect the knowledge of the real world. So I want to give an example of this interesting subject, salt. In India, there is religion conflicts, war going on. Then there's so many got hurt, there's so many refugees, and they escape to some place just to be able to live. So in this situation, there are lack of food, there are lack of water, there are lack of sleep place, and many things they are lack of. They need outside help. So this time the government of Indians came out, said, well, we cannot just send the military there to help the conflicts, because which side are we going to help? Are we going to help on the left side or right side? So it will make both sides not happy by using a military and also hurting people. So at this time, the government thought a great idea, which I think it's a great idea, is they asked the businessmen, the Indian government asked business people to go out to give those refugees some food, some water, and some essential needs that they need for survive, and sending a bill to government to get their money back after things settles. So all the businessmen start to do that, help the people, help the refugees to survive. And after a few months later, things has been settled down. So it's time to send in the bill to the government, say, here's how much water I sold it to them, here's how much clothing I sold it to them. So when the government received the receipts of the sales, they know all the number is not right because it has extra water in the receipts. So what can they do? They cannot go back to where they were a few months ago to count how many refugees is there, because it's too many things going on at that time. Nobody knows how many refugees was in the conflicts. So the government gave this problem to a statistics, and they try to figure out what's going on, how many people it's in the conflicts, and how much money actually it's going to be. Of course, not what the businessman said. So the statistic used the number of salt. Remember, salt. Because salt, it's an interesting thing that salt is, first of all, it's cheap. Salt is cheap. Second, the consuming of salt quantity is not very high. It's limited because everyone only can consume few grams of salt every day. So the number of per person using salt, it's very stable. So the price is not high and number is stable, and there's no motivation for businessmen to fake the number of salt because it's cheap. So the salt number should be most accurate number that businessmen reported to government. So the statistician people use the salt numbers to calculate one person can consume how much ground of salt per day, and use that salt number divided by per person consume the salt ground, then it will came out estimate how many people actually is in that conflict, or how many refugees they have been saved, how many people has been consumed the goods. So using a salt to estimate the right amount of people, that's how the statisticians came out with it. So I want to say, in history, back to 100,000 years ago, you can see salt it's always important in our life or in government's life. Why? In China, at least I know, is back to 100,000 years ago, they always have this salt tax. And also the salt, it's always manipulated by government. The government control the salt factories. First of all, salt, it's something that you cannot produce yourself unless you are next to ocean, or unless you have many factories. So if you are just at home, it's hard to produce salt yourself. That's first thing. Then second thing is, it's hard to use clothing, water, or vegetable to see how many people, because people can produce that themselves. People can produce the cotton, can produce vegetable, can produce water, draw well, So salt is perfect measurement that people cannot produce themselves. So the salt has been famous, or has been continued using salt tax because they know salt tax equals how many people. Salt tax equals how many people you have. People tax. So also government is very manipulate or control the salt manufacturers. It's not like anyone can open a salt manufacturer. Government control the salt manufacturers, and it's easy to control that too. So it's a monopoly for salt manufacturing for the government, in order to know how many people they have, counting by the people. So from that example story of salt, you can see for the economic side of the story is, we cannot just learning the economic from the blackboard, from the books, from the professor, but also we have to have economic back to real life. So that's what we call the real life knowledge, real world knowledge. The answer come out from the real world, real life, instead of from just the blackboard. Thank you for the Summer Talk 011. Bye-bye.